Yeah, stuff that no longer hold true.
Huh. So yeah, coming back to that, I always thought that elders, you had to respect elders, okay, and now I think it's not.
Not everyone is
Yeah,
deserving of
nobody.
that
Yeah,
respect.
nobody does. I mean, not. Yeah, age does not determine respect. I mean, cannot guarantee that you have to get
Does
respect.
it?
It's just.
Do you at least default to a certain level of respect and
So
then consider?
I stick to general behaviors with son's age. You know, even if it's a kid, you respect them because that kid is, even if it's your kid, you respect them. So what I'm saying is,
You talk in a respectful tone.
yeah,
Please.
you have, that is the basic manners you have to tell everything. But in generally, it's like I don't think there's a correlation between being wise and being old. I think there are some really dumb people who are old, and you meet them, and it's like you think that violence is not the solution, but sometimes your hand itches. You're like marna inko nahi kya karu main. They're quite old, so anyway they're gonna die.
What do you do in these situations? So when you meet these characters,
So I have given up on arguing, especially with the older generation, because it's too exhausting to argue with them because they have very stubborn values. I would say, or they have a very conservative thought, and I don't blame them entirely for it because it was it. I mean, you can really give them that benefit of doubt that was their upbringing, how they were, and all of that. But at this situation, I most of the time, if I get really upset, I want to pull them off the chair and do something like that. But I realize they've become old, so let them die peacefully with their old dirty minds.
so it's almost like I think you follow that live and let live wala concept. Like you're saying that.
No, it's not let live. If that person was younger, maybe I would spend a lot more time
trying to change their mind?
No, trying to tell them that there's another opposite argument that they have to consider or open their mind about it. But if they're old, I don't give a shit, to be honest. They're like, man. They have too much. See, they want to live a life peacefully and go away, right? Everybody as a older.
So what happens? What happens when they start interfering with your lives with their mindset, value system?
You don't engage those people in your life.
So just
you keep them at an arm's distance.
Scene zone in real life.
Yeah, scene zone. See, you always have to have in the back of your head that they're going to go away. So do all arrangements for it.
Just took a doctor.
Yeah. So you know that, see, you have to put up with them for what? Another 2-3 years.
Oh no. How many old people are you interacting with that are so old that they just have.
Thankfully, we don't have any living grandparents. But our grandparents were not like that, at least. Yeah. The old people, I would say, like really old boomers. Those kind of folks are very irritating to be with. Someone who.
Okay, I'm just reminding you that this is going out on YouTube.
Yeah.
And this is,
Yeah, see, I don't think this is anything wrong. No? Like I think everybody would have met someone old and very annoying like that. No? Some people have them in their house. Some people just meet them on the streets. That's all. We are just lucky we're meeting them on the streets or somewhere, some in distant functions and all. Thankfully, no old person at home who's like that. But it annoys you. You see videos on YouTube, right? Like during COVID, we saw so many Karens come on.
Yeah.
So wouldn't you go and shout? Would you go shout at them, or would you just like?
Somehow that urge never comes to me to shout at people, or like I don't feel like I can.
But what
really
if they
get angry at them? It just feels like.
Imagine you are in the States, US, okay, and someone just is being racist to you. What would you do? Like they're just coming and screaming at your face, saying some bad slurs at you because you're Indian.
See, for me, I almost always default to
apologize.
Not apologizing.
It's not your mistake.
No, not apologizing. I default to the practical scenario of whatever is happening. If it looks like it is going to get into a dangerous situation where they might, bring out some weapons or something, I try to diffuse that situation.
How do you do it?
Like it's okay, like fine, like I will. So fair. In some of the situations, it may turn out that I'll apologize even if it's not my fault. If it just appeases their ego.
No, okay, I'll give you two situations. Just say how you might, I mean, it's not going to be obviously the way you're going to react if that situation pulls up, but just think of it how you would react. So let's say, same scenario, a person just comes and screams at you for being Indian. So what do? They don't have a weapon. First scenario. Second scenario, they actually pull up a gun. What do you do?
So actually pull up a gun. I'm trying to like appease them much stronger. Like, what do you want? Like, let's just close.
What
this
do you
door.
want? They're saying they ask you to get out of the country. Get out of the country.
Fair. See, they can ask that in a fit of rage, but obviously they're not going to follow through. And then we say, okay, fine, I'll go, and I'll just leave that place. I don't want to be involved in a gunfight there, especially if I don't have a gun.
Right.
But if it is someone who doesn't have a gun, and that person is coming up throwing racist slurs around, and then again I'm trying to just avoid confrontation as much as possible.
So you just ignore them and you.
I try to ignore them. I try to
Infuriate
move
them.
away. I'm not trying to get into a fight because one thing I've seen, it is very easy to
Escalate.
It's very easy to escalate one, and it's very easy for something to go wrong. The smallest thing can go wrong. Like that the guy can slap you around. You may hit them in just the correct way that they just fall and just die. Like it just happens. Like there are people who just fell on the footpath and they hit their head in a particular direction and they expired. Like
So you think you will by mistake hit someone and they will
either that.
die?
So either that.
How powerful are you?
I'm just saying. So that is one possibility. I'm not discounting that possibility. Or like I might be with someone else. Like there might be people around me. Like I might be out with my friends, my family, whatever it is, and I don't want them to get in a dangerous situation. So looking at those situations, my default has always been to just get back to the level of peace. Like, I don't want confrontation. I'm very against confrontation.
I know that.
That way. Okay. No, I'm just saying. So that way, like I find it very hard when, like, it's almost unintuitive
But that's
that people
really-
get into fights.
I wouldn't say really, but that's something that maybe you should consider changing. Because, I mean, I think we have grown up in the same environment, and I also thought confrontation is not really the answer for things. It's more easier to get out of a conflict or resolve a conflict with more of a calm discussion or talk about it properly and all of that. But then I've come to realize I've been in some situations where I really got upset because that person is not adhering to my calmness. They are just trying to escalate it. I am trying to be sensible, but they are just not cooperating. Then what do you do in those situations? For me, I think that is where I learned that there are instances when you have to put your foot down and you have to yell at them, or you have to really be strong at your point, saying no, hey, this is what I want, give this or take
She's just
dire consequences. will
she's
be-
just using her hands a lot at this point, so you can't really see this. But no, so there's a difference there. So you can be assertive without shouting, without.
No, shouting is different. But when you're talking about not being confrontational, then you're not really agreeing to stand up for yourself, right? At that point, you're just
No,
saying,
I'm
"Hey,
still-
I'm just going to back out of this."
I'm still saying, okay, so in a hypothetical argument, this would go to a stage where I'm saying, okay, this other person is not getting my point at all. So let's close this. I am not agreeing to your point. It is like agreeing to disagree, and then we'll just close this. Like this is not
That's
going forward
how
anymore.
it works. No, that's just
Most of the time it happens. It works. So if I'm talking about this, or if I'm having an argument at work, let's say.
that's different. So at work, you have some HR things you can't do, right? You can't use
I mean,
bad
the
language,
same,
too much action.
the same. What is it called? Ethics still apply in your like
No,
personal
it does
life also.
not.
Like okay, let's say that you are standing in front of a shop and you're buying something, and you just got into a conversation with someone else who's buying something. Do you really want to die on that hill, win that argument with that person, whatever you're having? If there is an argument that is happening between you, like you just
It depends on the argument. If it's
is
something
any argument that valuable that you want to like stand there, complete that argument, win that argument, and leave? Wouldn't you just go, okay, fine, I have better things to do and leave?
I mean, in that scenario, yeah, in a shop scenario.
I'm
Some
saying-
scenarios I really want to win.
I'm saying like for me,
Like
the
in
spectrum,
a case where you need justice. Say someone stole your vehicle and
Fair.
you're going to the court and
Fair, yeah. I'm saying, but in the general scheme of things, if you're looking at the spectrum, most of the times, I default to this argument is not worth it.
I agree. So what I'm saying is, you can't always be with the mentality that being I mean, what is that called?
I'm not being non-confrontational.
Confrontation. Yes.
Like if a confrontation needs to happen, it will happen. But I will still maintain a level of composure. I'm saying, okay, fine. Like there are these other things that I can do. I will try my very best not to raise my voice. Like I'm not trying to get into hurtful speech and all of that stuff. But it's very very hard. Like very very hard for me to like feel
I know.
anger and like
Yeah,
you know,
I know.
go and do this stuff. Like it's always very confusing to me that like people just stand in between like a traffic jam. Like if someone just touched your motorcycle or.
But that is different. No, we had this talk before. So, if someone actually touched my vehicle, I would probably, I don't know, I actually don't know how I would react. If there's too much damage, I would actually stop right there and I would have a confrontation with that person. And I don't mind getting into a heated argument. Then
What are you getting out of it?
See, it is my property, my whole emotion. I mean, I'm attached to my vehicle. Call it weird. But now, if someone touches it or damages it, and they are blaming me for it, then of course they're going to get into a fight. So, I will do whatever it takes. Even violence भी चलता है.
No,
At
but
that point, it's like protection. No?
What is the next step? So fine, you are going.
I want the person to pay their dues if it's a damage from my end, and if it is something that I have done, of course I am going to pay them, and I'm not going to argue.
So why not just jump to that? Why not just say, okay, look, okay, this thing has happened.
But if they're not agreeing, what do you do?
Take photographs, like get your police involved.
Yeah, but what if they start blaming? So I have had this something similar that I can put example here. So I was driving to college once, and close by this art circle, I was taking. So there was a motorbike guy going in front of me. He had the right indicator on, and he was trying to turn. He had the right indicator on. No, sorry. He had the left indicator on. He was trying to turn right. So of course, what I do, he has left indicator on, so I'm going to the right. I'm trying to cut him on the right and go. He takes a turn to the right, and I suddenly pressed the brake. It did not touch, but he actually turned at me and he started yelling at me. So I was already late to college, and he started yelling at me. He's like, "Yeah, note hoga kagala." Of course, I got angry. I was like, "Nee nodi, he'll put nodi, yeah, indicator hakidira anta." Then he saw what he's done, but immediately he switched it off and he's like, "Naan indicator hakilla, nim nodkondu hogakagalla, eradu road ide," and all of that nonsense, right? At that point, you think about it, like how would you react? I of course got angry and I started scolding an uncle. So, and after a point, I realized, yeah, time or I have to go to college. I just left the argument. He's yelling, I went, okay. But what is his point? Like he knew that he was wrong, but maybe he is misogynistic. He thinks that every woman is a bad driver or some shit like that. Or he thought, okay, let's have fun in this situation. A girl is there, dating you and all of that. But it depends, right?
So, couple of times this has happened to me while I was riding my bike. It's not very big thing. So, like when you're standing in traffic, the auto beside you like kind of clips you a little bit, and it touches you in the like one of the things, right? So, I've never gotten angry at it.
Yeah,
so,
but that is different, no? So that's what I'm saying. They apologize, they say, hey, by mistake.
Yeah.
They do, that is fine. This guy was blatantly wrong, no?
Fair. Yeah.
So at that point, you have to tell something. You can't be like, sorry sir, and go.
Not sorry, I don't think it jao.
No, you have to make him realize, dude.
Like,
next time you kill someone and he's like,
is...
no, I did by mistake, I don't know. It's not like that. It doesn't work.
Why do you have to make him realize? Why can't
no,
you
see, I always think of it one as a situation where I have to stand up because I was not at wrong. If it were me, of course I would apologize and all that. Not wrong. He's standing in between the street and he's yelling at me saying, I don't know how to drive and who gave me license and all of that. And he is the one who did wrong, right? I'm not saying, hey, you did wrong, I'm going to take you to the court or something like that. No. But you have to make him realize that he is not always right. It's not about winning the argument. It's rather making him realize that he can also do a mistake.
My question is, why do you have to make him realize? Why is that?
It's not my thing to change him or his mentality. The whole situation is about me standing up for myself. That's all. I was not wrong. Why is he yelling at me? I have to stand up for myself. That's all.
Fair. Fair.
So, closing arguments, you need violence in life. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
And most times you have to be.
Do you? No, wait. Hold on. This has become an argument already here. Like
You know, I like to. See, one, it's good for drama.
It's good for entertainment.
Yeah,
fair.
very right. It is.
I mean, you can have mock arguments. You don't.
That's
need-
not as fun, no. Even see if you
Okay,
watch
let me ask
people
you-
do what is that called? That thing where they fight boxing or
wrestling.
wrestling.
Huh.
So if you watch wrestling like in Indian Olympics or national international sports, it's not that nice. You feel it gives you that feeling of staged. But then you see people like
Raw.
even in movies like Mari and stuff, where like blood is coming out. You're like, shit. एक दिन इसको witness करना पड़ेगा.
No, but okay. Let me ask you this: if you had an option, okay, not an option. Do you think it is possible that you can always have arguments without it devolving into fights?
Yeah, that is
Like you can have a world where there are no fights at all.
no.
Why not?
I mean, you can't control everybody's reactions to something. No?
But
Maybe there's someone who is always prone to throwing their hands around if they run into an argument.
and if that person comes across another person who just doesn't want to get into a fight, doesn't that de-escalate the
No,
situation automatically?
Dude, that's such a power imbalance, no? If it were two people who were probably physical in their fights, at least somewhere you can relate to someone trying to not get into it. I likes maybe, but otherwise I don't think it will work out. Of course, the person who doesn't want to fight is going to get beaten up, and that would be a fight to watch.